you know, that football team we got in the locker room, I think we traveled 69, which is below what we would normally take to a football game. Obviously, we got hit with COVID coming back from Tallahassee somehow, some way. I don't know what happened. But, you know, I couldn't be prouder of this football team. You know, you look at what we did this week in practice, and our coaches did a heck of a job. Happy for our seniors. Senior day, that's how you let your seniors go out. You know, those 10 that walked and had senior day today, I just couldn't be more proud of those guys and what they did today. You know, it was a gutsy win by our football team. They never blinked. They didn't worry. They believed. We talked about, you know, stepping up, next man up. You talk about next man up. I mean, we were really down 18 guys today. 8 starters did not play today. And, you know, guys stepped up and made plays. You know, it's 2020. Some crazy things happened. I mean, A.J. Davis had a heck of a ball game as well. You wouldn't believe 2020, at 9 o'clock this morning, he had a root canal. I was like, we're going to give him a root canal on game day. I mean, that's just the way the season's gone. And I told him, hey, you're getting a root canal. We're going to talk about your root canal after this game, after you win and rush for 100. Now, he didn't quite get 100, but, you know, that's adversity. I mean, you talk about a football team. I just couldn't be, you know, happier for every senior and the way the guys played. So with that, open it up for questions.
Play of your offensive line. I mean, hopefully, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Can you hear me? Yeah, I mean, what about the player offensive line? I mean, obviously, I mean, you didn't have your normal guys up there, and you felt comfortable having Kenny throw it 50 times.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we had a lot of faith in those guys. I mean, you know, 3 new starters. You know, Jimmy didn't practice all week. I mean, all week he did not practice. But you know, he came in and played a heck of a ball game. Bryce was the only guy to practice all week. Matt Gonsalves practiced probably half his snaps at offensive center because we didn't have a backup center as well. He's never snapped the ball, you know, in a game or really in a practice. Really, I don't think so. I mean, you know, we really had you know, Jimmy Morrissey as the number 1 center with Drexel behind him, and then our third snap, our emergency guy, was Jake Cradle. Well, we didn't have him either. So you just look at what, you know, Borbley did, you know, on the O-line, and again, a heck of a job by our offense, and Coach Whipple, you know, just kind of putting it together and piecing it together and having belief in our kids. And I even heard, you know, comment during the week, you know, Coach, are you really going to put Kenny Pickett behind that offensive line? Okay. And yes, we're going to go out and win. And, you know, that's Pitt football. And, you know, we got a big one next week, and we just got to gather ourselves, be smart tonight, and hopefully, you know, come back a little bit more loaded than we were this week.
Pat, your touchdown drives today, you know, 75 yards, 65 yards, 99, 79, 80. The ability just to finish off those drives, that's something that you guys really struggled at earlier in the season, but to be able to finish tonight under these circumstances, what does that kind of say about your offense?
You know, the offense, you know, again, they came back and did what they needed to do. It's called execution. And I said all week, it's not about them, it's about us. It's about what we do. It's how we execute. And like I said, 3 new starters up front, and Keldrick Wilson came in there as well. He was like our, you know, our next guy in this week. It's just an outstanding job, and you know, don't let anybody ever tell you can't do something. And again, I'm just, you know, just love that locker room. I love those players that we get to coach here, and couldn't be happier for them.
And given all the COVID absences, how close did you come to not playing today?
You know what? You know, I don't make those calls, Jerry. You know, we were close all week, and you know, the positive thing is, you know, we were clean all week too. So that was really, we didn't lose anybody this week in practice. It was really, you know, the previous week that we were waiting on. So, you know, I hope we're out of the woods. You know, I don't know where it came from. You know, I talked about a tent and all that stuff down south. I don't know, but you know, I'm just happy for our football team. I'm happy the guys that stepped up, that next man up. Again, that's what it's all about.
Pat, can you speak to the yak yards and some of the effort from DJ Turner today?
He was phenomenal. You know, we didn't have Jordan Addison, and he took over that slot position, which I think the last time he did it, we should have beat North Carolina State, if I recall. Last time we didn't have Jordan, and DJ's a football player. You know, senior day for him, he was outstanding, making people miss and just getting the tough yards. He had some big conversions on 3rd down.
Pat, what can you say about DeMar Hamlin? He led the team into 11 tackles, and that's the most he's had since the bowl game last year.
Yeah, well, if you watch the game closely and you go back and watch the TV copy, we're down Brandon Hill, and Eric Hallett had to move from starting at corner at Florida State to starting at safety. We kind of switched it up and put DeMar into the boundary and trusted Hallett to the field. But as soon as we did that, they started attacking the field. So then in the second half, we flipped it and put DeMar to the field, and then they started going to the boundary. So that tells you about the respect that people have for number 3, DeMar Hamlin. Again, another senior that I wish would take another year, but he needs to move on to go to the NFL, and he's an outstanding football player.
When you had, 3 starting offensive linemen, leading receiver, leading tackler, that's a lot to lose. What did you sense about the team's confidence through the week? Did you sense that they were a little bit nervous about this?
You know what? The confidence kept growing as the week went on. I think a lot of the kids were looking at each other like, what are we doing here? What's going on? Are we going to play this game? I think there was a lot of indecision. I would compare it to where we were in August when we had a little issue in camp where people are wondering, like, what's going to go on? Are we going to be able to finish this season? And the kids found a way to get it done, but the confidence continued to rise. And it started on Tuesday's focus, where Kenny Pickett had to focus and talk to the team and just said, listen, I don't care who's on the field. I'll play with any of my brothers here. And to me, that was the key. When he said that, I was like, here we go. Let's go. And, that's your senior leadership. That's your senior captain. He didn't care who was in front of him. He said, we're going to get this thing done. So, like I said, incredible win for our kids today.
Pat, you kind of touched on it a little bit there at the end, but just how big of a win is this for your seniors and sending them off the way that you guys did at Heinz Field today?
It's a big time win. I mean, where some players across the country are opting out, our kids stuck together, and the seniors played their tails off. I mean, you can go right down the line. Every one of them played. Pinnock, that one interception Jason Pinnock had, where he just took it off. He just jumped over that dude and got that. I mean, that was an unbelievable interception. So, I'm just proud of every one of those guys.
Pat, with DJ Turner, this was the second game this season that he's had more than 50 yards, and both of those came either in games where you guys didn't have Addison or where he didn't play for large stretches. Is there something about DJ that sort of really embraces being the top go-to target, and that allows him to have big games in those situations? Yeah, I mean he's he'll catch the football. He's a special kid. I mean, had a heck of a game, and we just got to keep it rolling. DJ Turner's a football player.
Pat, do you think this team was kind of eager to get back out there after the Georgia Tech postponement and everything that kind of happened last week and just that state of limbo, really?
They were eager. Again, we wanted to play last week. I know they were disappointed that we didn't get to go down there, but it was a safety issue. Again, we're just going to always protect our football team and our kids, and as much as we wanted to play that game, we just didn't feel good going down there. But our kids were excited to be able to have another one. I talked about earning number 9. We got to earn it, and we earned 8 going into that. We lost a game, but it's postponed, and we're going to get that thing on a Thursday night. But our kids were eager. Our kids love to play, and it would have been disappointing to practice all week and not play the game. And I think that's one of the issues they had is like, Coach, we're going to practice all week and not play this game again. And we just talked about being safe and wearing masks all the time and not letting your guard down.
Pat, what can you say about just watching Kenny develop over the years? His first start comes against in the big upset against number 2 Miami. And then today he finishes off his career at Heinz Field, or his Heinz Field career with 404 yards, completing like 36 of 52 passes. What can you just say about watching him grow over the years?
He's the best thing about Kenny, besides his arm and his feet and the way he can run, is he's a leader. And we're gonna dearly miss Kenny Pickett another year, but we'll have a lot of time. Hopefully we get a spring practice this year and develop the rest of the guys. But he's a leader. He's tough, and he makes our offense tick.
Any final questions?
You pretty much, I don't want to say ignored, but didn't use your run game much in the second quarter of those 2 long drives. Are you comfortable running an offense that way?
I just want to score touchdowns. I mean, you talked about, I think John asked a question earlier about how we finished a lot of drives, after 3 field goals. I think it was 9-0 kicking 3 field goals. So we didn't finish those drives off early, and that score could have been a lot better than it was. But whatever they're giving us, I mean, you watch different teams. I mean, that's one of the top rushing offense in the country. They got a lot of mop-up yards late in the game when we didn't really care if they were going to run it and eat the clock up, and whether they got 40, 50 yards in the last drive. I'm comfortable with us scoring touchdowns. And again, I don't care if you run it, throw it, just score points and get in the end zone. So whatever we have to do, and Kenny's arm, with a makeshift offensive line that just got it done today, it doesn't matter.
Anything else?
You mentioned not being able to score touchdowns, in the early part of that game. You see some sort of switch, maybe split sometime in the second quarter at halftime where you really kind of came out and pulled away down the stretch there?
Well, we got the run game going, and again, it comes down to confidence. And sometimes you run the ball early and you don't have as much success as you want to, but you just got to keep pounding the football, and you got to take opportunities to run it. It just doesn't happen. You're not going to have the first 3 runs, go for 30 yards. You just got to have patience, and again, the patience paid off today.